So like I said, most mornings I wake up choking on my own tear snot. At least I was able to sleep for 4 hours. Flashbacks to being raped awake are no fun. Only to be told that men don't get raped. And I wonder why those male law enforcement officials who raped me were in Kentucky. It's legal to rape detainees. Failed to report it. When I was under 12, that doesn't count. So for Sam Bavard to threaten me over another frivolous lawsuit, and the rape barn to Scott Poe and his transphobic rapey bullshit, to Corporal Wordline and their cannabis and dildos and perverts of transgender nature, according to her words, not mine. To several other of the people's elected officials, homophobia and transphobia. I tripped and fell over the bucket this morning. There's also another lovely thing through the laundry area. Oh my god. Crap. Always do. It's no hangover. It's just how it is. There's a feeling like someone's sticking a burnt match in my eye every time to draw eyeliner on me. Oh well. So let me tell you about how far those people went, literally, to levels of misconduct and obstruction just to cover up this sick, rapey shit that I went through, let alone what other people went through. So I'm pretty sure I mentioned the Crawfords and their ties to a couple of things in that fucking disgusting area. I do believe I talked about Mr. Boggs' ties to them. I also believe I talked about Matt Lewis. It felt like he was slicing my genitalia off from my left to right that night. So I can only assume why. He said he was addicted to meth. He had, I think, 3 child support payments, not to mention possible alimony. He initiated, then went further, then did his thing. You know, I found it quite odd, a straight man yanking my basketball shorts down and giving me a blowjob. It doesn't happen all that often. I'm usually the one giving a blowjob. To pretty much being dragged back to my bedroom, him high apparently, sitting on it, then feeling it like it's being cut off. Hooray. So Phil Day and his district and not giving a shit about what goes on there? Yeah, I'm going to talk about Mr. Day as well, and his daughter Stephanie and Hospice. Like I said, after Kim Razor's cute little stupidity, Michael Fogelman's business card and personal number were missing. Michael Fogelman, marijuana eradication, along with the sex cop black book. I had already started trying to talk about it on social media before Kim Razor and a few others claimed they were afraid. Mason County Sheriff's Office was threatening to kill us and burn our house down because of their fucking drug dealing. And me calling them on it? Where's my proof? I don't know. Let's listen to a few of Mr. Boggs' messages. Let's look at Deputy Andrews and her heroin peddling family. Let's look at where each person came from and went to. Justin and Lisa, Stephanie Schumacher's drug peddling department, to Kirk Toll's records department, to MCSO, with a new badge. So as I said, huge thank you to Patrick Boggs and his fucking piece of shit family for all the goddamn personal physical injury they caused me. Offended by language? Get over it. So as I stated in those videos tagged to the FBI, we grew up in a church. I grew up in a family where it was believed that demons could be beat out of someone, especially if they were gay. They saw being gay as definitely a mental health issue that they could solve with the Bible. With people like the Shoemakers involved. Christy Aersmith Halverson, Susan Christy Aersmith Halverson, stealing DNA, and Mary Toller claiming me as hers to, your butts are mine. Mary Toller, quite contrary. How does her garden grow? With silver bells, conkle shells, and pretty whores lined up in a row. So the Crawfords cannot afford their electric bill, but they can drive a brand new Charger or Challenger. Makes sense, doesn't it? CBD oil is totally legal. Totally. We do not have cannabis, at least cannabis products in this area. They can't afford their electric bill, but they can afford to drive a brand new Challenger. Makes perfect sense. So as I said, Maysville proper has their own little hydroponic grow station. It's one of the best perks for the Mason County, Maysville City employees. Not to mention the Sam's Club memberships on the taxpayer dollar. You heard that correctly. Sam's Club memberships for their employees on the taxpayer dollar. So when I approached Mason County officials and they told me that they were not required to follow federal law as I saw it, wake up and smell the audit. After John Estell came out with his blow-jobbed, overly burdensome, dumbass answer to an ORA, or ORR, Open Records Acquisition, more agencies than ever before reporting confiscation material in the Commonwealth of Kentucky after the feds cracked down on them. Because, like I stated, guess what? All those fines and penalties from them just failing, being too goddamn lazy to do that paperwork, were costing the taxpayers out the ass. So yes, you heard me correctly. John Estell gave me that goddamn bullshit of an answer when I submitted a simple request. Simple. I mean, it wasn't so short of a request. It was a simple request. It wasn't, I need their entire personnel files, years employed, blah, 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 badge numbers and years of employment. How in the goddamn difficult is that to fill? More agencies. Here, let's see what it is. Under pressure, more Kentucky agencies report asset forfeiture seizures. From the Legal Journal to the news to back to the Legal Journal. Few Kentucky police agencies actually report what they take. Yes, I'm well aware of that. And then failing to report it is a huge cost to the taxpayers. My open records request that John Estell said was too overly burdensome was about confiscated materials in the Mason County area. That particular time, I posted it into the file as it should have been. Next thing I knew, more Kentucky agencies than ever before reporting civil asset forfeiture as required by state and federal law. Kentucky is hemorrhaging at the seams, and without people even being able to work remotely, what in the hell did they expect? Not only did Governor Beshear's father, they did not use the federal broadband money the way I thought it should have been used. Building up places like Louisville as a drug hub. In Louisville, they have fiber optics. Everything's ran over fiber optics. Forget what they call it. AT&T Uverse, I think. Where Maysville City proper, up on the hill, I think downtown Maysville can get DSL, but I could be wrong. Up where Deputy Andrews lived, Crimestone Cablevision or AT&T's DSL at 1.5 megabits per second. Another huge problem in the Mason County area was when the school district was absorbing all that state and federal funding and creating their own bullshit internet service provider, dial-up. It was junk. I'd like to know how much funding they absorbed just for that garbage. A dial-up ISP can be set up easily and quite cheaply, especially through their proxied servers. I wanted to get it with, several other people that had money and create our own fiber to home internet service provider in that area. That way, more people could work remotely. But no, we don't need it. There's no need for it. There's Windstream in certain areas and Limestone Cablevision in others. And if you're just, outside their area, too bad. Limestone wanted to charge me tens of thousands of dollars just to run their stupid internet service down to our house. The loop ends up at Jack and Janet West, pretty much. So while I got satellite internet and finally had high speed, the latency with satellite internet makes it impossible to use it for remote work. I don't know about this new Starlink thing. Because the satellites are orbited lower, the latency is supposed to be better. I don't know. Here we have internet so fast you could, probably do 2 or 3 high-definition videos streaming at the same time. Upload. Download. We've had every television on streaming and our computers and phones, and it has no problem. I really don't want to medicate yet. Oh my God, bone pain. It's enough to make you want to pass out. Today's Wednesday. So no, I never really sleep. After I was bludgeoned that time, they knocked afterwards. And then let me fall asleep. Which you never, ever, ever allow a concussion person, a person who's had a concussion, to fall asleep. Because guess what? They don't wake up sometimes. As I was asked, who would allow a bludgeoned patient or person to fall asleep? Well, a rapist, for starters. people claiming this is this and that is that for another thing. But no one wanted to take my statements or allegations seriously. Lawyers actively telling me there was no case because they were friends with the drug peddling rapist pieces of shit and doing their own goddamn drugs. They would not take or make cases. So while I was left struggling to try to figure out how I was going to survive medically, back then I couldn't apply for Medicaid on my own. And with my family being self-proclaimed anarchists or whatever the fuck they consider themselves, the government's already too goddamn involved. Well, you can't have it both ways. Like my Aunt Bonnie and her boyfriend husband of 20 years, Richard Collins. You should apply for Medicaid. No shit. Your brother and brother-in-law won't allow it because he's anti-government. Not to mention, I'd have to give up every doctor that I see. You had all these people complaining about the ACA. I didn't get to keep my own doctor. Boo fucking who. The ACA was a godsend for most people. I'll tell you what I didn't get to keep my physicians with. Medicaid. Kentucky Medicaid, none of my physicians accepted it. One rheumatologist in that entire area in Lexington accepted Medicaid. I never did understand it.